moving forward, this is a graphic that's in my brain all the time. And I want to walk you guys through how my brain thinks. You know what this symbol is? This is called the delta. This is a delta symbol. This is the difference symbol, okay? And that is measured here on this blue area. So let's look at this timeline. You are certified right here. You're freshly minted CFI. Or maybe you just got your commercial, you're trying to skip the CFI thing. Okay, fine, whatever. That's another topic. You're certified. And then over here, after you build 1,500 hours or so, you're then qualified for the job. So I want to talk about the period of time, how you can take yourself from barely ready to highly competitive. This is phase 2, okay? So this line is going to represent interview ready. You are actually qualified to have your interview, okay? The top green line is going to be top 10%. This is competitive. These are the competitive folks. So what I want to talk about is how do I go from barely able to grab the interview to being top 10% or if not top pick, okay, competitive. In order to do that, I got to talk about a couple of red flags, okay? There's two major career killers. Number 1, check ride failures. Number 2, not having the competencies of a captain while you're building your time. Hours is what gets you here, okay? So you see these little dips, this little dip right here? I drew this to represent the termination. This is a termination. This really sinks your odds of being able to get the interview. If you have a termination, you are going to be last pick. Over here, coming right out of the gate, right? You could be up here. You're still not qualified for the interview. You got 250 hours. You're not qualified, but you could be better. Well, you starting out with no failures. That's you right here at the top of this blue line. With 1 or 2 or 3 failures, you're down here or all the way at the bottom. And so you have further ladder to climb the lower you start out in your career. We'll say career begins at CFI certification. Okay? So how do we avoid failures? Well, I call it the check ride readiness concept. New abbreviation for you guys. The CRC, check ride readiness concept. And do you know why at the 135 level and the 121 level, they give a check ride every single year? Any guesses? You gotta be able to perform the job duties that you said you could. And everybody knows that one of the fundamentals of instruction, one of the FOIs, is that recency is how you remember things the best. So that's why they have an annual check ride. This is the check ride readiness concept. Okay, so please, when you finish your private, don't short-term cram. This is just a tip here. This is not what today is about. This is just extra tips. Don't short-term memory cram, because something will eventually come back up later. Store this in your long-term memory, and the way to do that is to fall in love with the material. This is your profession, and take it as professionally and as seriously as you possibly can, and remain every single day, like randomly on the line, if a DPE shows up, could you pass a check ride? That's the check ride readiness concept, and I hope you can say yes from this day forward for the rest of your life. Okay, so that having that mentality from day one is going to bring you right up here, twice as high as you were coming out of the gate. This is phase 1. Okay, phase 1, but I want you to continue this mentality forward for forever and ever and ever, for eternity. Okay, another way to increase the delta between a person with hours and a person who is highly desirable is to get operational experience. Okay, and not just any operational experience where you are applying the Captain Accelerator protocols. That I'm gonna drop a couple of protocols for you today. That's what we're doing today. Okay, we're gonna talk about a couple of phase 2 protocols today so that you can apply them. This is what I was referring to in the beginning. If you're at the gym, if you just go on the treadmill on level 1 with incline of 0, this is the equivalent of showing up at work, you seeing a problem, and you just turning the other way and not trying to solve it with an actual model or protocol. Okay, it is hard. It's hard to curl the extra weight. It's hard to bench press the extra weight. It's hard to bump that treadmill up to a 7 on the incline for no good reason other than you know that if you do it a bunch, eventually you will become strong. Right? This is the same concept here. In order to start really climbing ahead, I need you to have the mentality of looking for problems and trying to solve them actively. Okay? This is the heavy curl. You're going to see somebody that is going to roll their eyes at you. You know they're going to roll your eyes when you say, okay, I saw them skip their pre-flight. How can I address this? It's not my pre-flight. We're flying side by side. And if they crash and die, I'm not dying. But you have to go and help them realize the procedure of you have to pre-flight, and then you have to lead them to want to be able to do it. You know what? This takes effort, just like it does in the gym. This takes effort, just like it does when you're saving for retirement, right? And not applying these captain protocols, these captain accelerator protocols, when you don't have to. It's not conducive to being up here in the top pick. How do you get above the top 10? This is the question. Well, this is the interview preparation. This is the CJO Pro. You guys are here now. And I know some of you have your jobs, but this is still fun because you never know when your airline's going to go under and you need to be looking for a job anyways. So CJO Pro, this is your interview prep. If you wait until you are ready for the interview to start prepping, what will happen is you will be thinking about your past history, and you're going to be trying to find what protocols did I use that I can then tell on the story. Here's a concept. If you dig into the course, okay, in fact, I'll just whip it over real quick. This is the course. This is your interview preparation course. Go down to the storytelling section and start learning what the AVIC storytelling method sounds like, okay? The storytelling framework is right there, but this is how you make the story interesting. These are the competencies, which are virtues and attributes, that they're looking for you to sell them inside of the storytelling framework that you tell on the interview. So this is what this green line I'm trying to explain. These protocols, these advertisements are the competencies that they're going to be asking in order to get that trophy, in order to get that CJO. Right? So what you should be doing is you should be working this problem backwards. Go into the course and find out what the storytelling framework is, what the competencies are, and then bring it back here to the beginning of time. Some of you are over here. Some of you are freshly minted. Some of you are not even minted yet inside this class. I know where everybody's at here. But if you can drag this back to as long as possible and learn those competencies, then these are the competencies. Then you can apply them in real time, and you can start increasing the delta, increasing the change between a person with basic hours and a person who's highly competitive. Okay, and then this top 10%, this is when you make it super interesting, right? Like I could have done this whole graph like this with my hands, but I chose to use a graphic so that you guys can see it. I could have also sat here like this, and I could have explained the whole thing monotone. Like, this is a choice that I made to put colors on the screen for you guys so that you aren't bored and so that I can learn how to like, you see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? You got to elevate a little bit, right? And learning how to tell good stories, that is how they are going to decide if you are interesting on a 4-day trip. You get me? Like, you don't say, oh yeah, I'm interesting, I'm a good person to fly with. No, you prove it on the interview by telling killer stories on how you resolve problems and then how you're excited about it. And they learn that incidentally by seeing how you perform, how you behave on the interview. And they're just going to make an assumption. Oh, if I was sitting next to this person, they're going to tell me a bunch of interesting stories, hence fun on a 4-day trip. Let's dive into it. Protocols. I'm going to give you 2 today, 2 big protocols. This is how you're going to avoid termination. Okay? This is one of the big career killers. And I find that if I actively think about a model or a protocol as I'm frustrated with someone, that it makes me handle it better, more like a leader, more like a captain.